1, 2, 3. Harold and Brad. Windy City Filmmakers. Harold and Brad. Windy City Filmmakers. Harold and Brad. Da, 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 da.
Three, two, one. What's going on, y'all? Brad Stevens here for another edition of the Harold and Brad Windy City Filmmakers Podcast. HD, what's going on, brother?
What's up, B? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, we got a special guest here today. This guy's been in a plethora of movies and plays on Broadway, and you guys already know it's Harry Lennix. He's done The Man of Steel, The 5 Heartbeats, Titus, Batman versus Superman, Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Revolution, Ray, and TV show's my all-time favorite, The Blacklist, because his character's name is what? Harold!
No doubt. So the first question we usually kick things off with, it's a two-parter, and it's, what's your connection to Chicago, and what kind of art do you create?
Well, my connection to Chicago is from the womb. My mother had me at Mercy Hospital many years ago. Now,
nice.
I will go back into how long, but that's where I was born and raised, on the south side there, and grew up in South Shore. Went to Catholic schools my whole life, except for college. When I transferred out, I was studying to be a priest, actually. And I transferred out and went to Northwestern University, which was not a seminary, and but where I actually became a professional actor while I was still there. And I guess a lot of the work that I do, or the kind of work that I do, it's very a good deal. But in some way, I think it's always, informed by the fact that I had a background steeped in Catholicism and thinking about Christianity in some way, trying to be of service in some way. So I guess, in a lot of ways, I do a little bit more formal work than most Black actors. I think, I haven't played a whole lot of street people and so forth. I've done a couple of things, but my sort of interest has always been in language plays that require a good deal of language, such as Shakespeare or August Wilson,
nice,
and any of the so-called classics. So yeah.
Right, that's a good transition. I was just about to ask. We were talking to James, our mutual friend, James Alford.
What do you love about August Wilson and his work and his writing?
Well, what you just mentioned about the language, beyond the poetry of it, the heft and the power and the strength that he conveys of our people, the strength of our people, women in particular, Black women in particular, that he conveys in his work.
Well, I think that there's a good deal of commonality between them. A lot of people, I suspect, think that, the people who have had the chance to be both playwrights. People like Keith David, for example, who was a wonderful actor, great actor. I saw him do 7 guitars. I saw him do Othello. So there's a kind of, you said musicality, and I think that that's right. Poetry, heightened language, really. But more so than the language, I think it's the characters. That is, that the type of people, the personae, the dramatist personae that are created, represent more than just individuals filling out a particular plot. They are representative. What the great theatrical critic Harley Granville Barker refers to as representatively human. Mm-hmm. And so if you look at somebody like Troy Maxson, it's an almost operatic sized character. Somebody like Harold Loomis, these are characters that could be a part of a mythology. And I think that that's really what they have done. And of course, Shakespeare goes right and pulls characters right out of Greek mythology, Roman mythology, and so forth. Great historical figures such as Julius Caesar, these people whose grandeur, whose sides, as it were, are more than just the normal person.
So let's go back. You started your career at while you were at Northwestern, and you began, I'm sure, doing theater shows and plays and diving off into training. And moving forward a little bit, let's talk about getting cast in the 5 Heartbeats. How did that work out? How did that come about?
Oh man, yeah, this is one of those stories that so long ago now. But it's one of those things that I can't forget because I was teaching school. I was a substitute teacher at Bass Elementary School for many years, right across the street from Ogden Park. And so my principal was Mrs. Marcella Gilley. She was the mother of one of my best friend, Nick Gilley, who's a newt, by the way.
Okay.
And she gave me a kind of latitude where she would allow me to go and audition for things. I could take a half day. For example, go and teach in the morning, leave at lunchtime, go off and do an audition. It didn't happen a lot, but I did that particular day. And I went downtown Chicago. Shamin Bernard was casting. I had met Shamin Bernard. I think she's from Chicago, by the way.
Okay.
And Robert Townsend was in the room. And so I didn't know that he was going to be in the room, but we just sat and we talked. And he asked me what I was doing with my life. And I told him, well, actually, I'm a school teacher. And I think more than anything, I didn't read any lines from the movie. I didn't have to audition in that sense. I don't think any of us did. We just sat and talked to it. And that's how I got the part. I went out. This is an interesting story. Nick and I drove from Chicago to New York. I'm sorry, to LA. We drove from Chicago to LA. It took us like 48 hours.
Man.
We spent the night in Amarillo, Texas, or Amarillo, Texas, and had a steak or something, and got in there. And about 2 weeks later, I'm sitting around Nick's apartment, his crowded little studio, where I was flopping, just to do pilot season. This is going back to 1990. And that pilot season, I was 2 or 3 auditions a day, things were humping. This was in the days of network television. And so you would have 40 or 50 pilots shot, in a given season. Probably more than that now, by the way. I get a call. I didn't book any of those. I didn't get jack.
Right.
But I get a call from my agent, Elizabeth Geddes, and she says, that movie that you went and read with or talked to Townsend, they want you to be one of the Heartbeats. And so I was, these things don't happen in real life.
Right.
I was over the moon, and we went pretty much right into rehearsal.
That's nice. One thing I love that story. I love that story. What I also love when you would talk about the pilot season, how you just went on so many auditions. We interviewed Nicole Thurman. We did the second season together. We were talking about it, and she was saying how she was doing a TV show, and then it got canceled. And she was saying all the things that went through her head about, man, am I going to start being a waitress again? And we were just talking about the ebb and flow of the industry, how you could be hot, then boom, radio silence, right? So how did you navigate those waters, when you were going on auditions and just going on auditions and nothing seemed to be falling in place before the film hit? How do you navigate, keep your confidence up, so to speak?
It was interesting. There's so many of them. There were so many auditions. None of them had any particular great meaning for me.
Right.
It wasn't like I was auditioning to play Hamlet or Malcolm X or something every day.
Right.
Yeah, it was playing some cop in some background thing because nobody knew me. I was something of a commodity in Chicago, but LA didn't give a damn about that. So I was a stage star in Chicago. But that's really how I handled it. Is that I was still doing plays. I would go back to Chicago. I was even traveling with a play where I did play Malcolm X.
Yes.
Called The Meeting for many years.
Yes.
Yeah. So we would put that up. And I was also doing other things. At the time, I was doing The Great Gatsby on stage at the Wisdom Bridge Theater with my friend John Carlisle directing. So, you know, I had a vibrant theatrical career. And so that's how I kept the confidence up. To me, you know, that was more proof of concept than anything that I didn't get. You know, that you know, some small part in some tiny little movie or what have you. So it didn't, I didn't really care about it.
Okay, nice.
I cared. I mean, I wanted to be successful.
Yeah.
and make the big bucks at some point, you know, rather than having to teach school, for example. But
no doubt.
That said, yeah.
So here's a great question. So what opened everything up for you? What particular role or moment that you think opened it up, where the floodgates opened up for you?
Well, I'll let you know when it happens, Harold.
From my mouth to God's ear, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a trippy thing. You know this. Both of you know this as well as I do. You know, unless you're like an A-list guy, I'm not an A-lister. You know, I'm not a household name. I'm a working actor. You know, I've had a lot of fun and a fair amount of success in this end of it. You know, this kind of character actor thing. But there'll be a year that'll go by, and I won't be able to get arrested in Hollywood. You know?
Right.
Yeah, there was a stretch there. I think in 2010 to 2012, where the only things that I did were, you know, movies that I produced myself, you know, and paid for, and financed. One of them I wrote, you know, but then something happened, you know, with Man of Steel, Zach Tippy and Man of Steel. And then from that time, I really have not been without work just because of the show. So I went from Man of Steel almost immediately into the Blacklist.
Right.
And the Blacklist has been on for 8 years, so I haven't.
Man, okay. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Man of Steel, Batman and Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Revolution, Ray came about, and I'll have to say you were absolutely wonderful with all of those languages and accents. I was like, oh my God, that was such a beautiful display of talent, man. It was amazing. So let's talk about Broadway and rolling right into the film Titus, playing Aaron. How did that go? Getting on the Broadway, doing that show with those people, and then going right into Titus.
I think it wasn't in that order, you know. It was, I think what happened, let me just refresh my memory. So I moved to New York in 90, like 1990 or 91 or something. I had just done Othello at the Court Theater.
Right here in Hyde Park?
In Hyde Park. Great theater company, directed by my dear friend Eric Simonson, great director, writer, Stephen Wolfer. And so I moved out to New York right after that, permanent location in that. And I had auditioned already for this group called Theater for a New Audience before I made the move. And at that meeting to audition for Theater for a New Audience, I met a great artistic director named Jeffrey Horowitz. Shortly thereafter, I met the great Julie Taymor. My idol. And she was doing Titus Andronicus, asked me to do it. I think she asked Andre Brower to do it.
Nice.
But he thought that the character of Aaron the Moor was somehow an insult to Black people.
Right.
But I love Andre. He's my friend. And by the way, West Side. And you know, many people have a horrible opinion about Titus Andronicus. They think it's a bad play. But I think it's a great play. But that said, I did the part. That play production got a lot of attention. You know, it's a very rarely done play up until that point. And so I auditioned for ER. And they wanted me to fly out to LA to do the final screen test. And this was with the producers and all that. I would have started working, that was a Saturday. that they wanted me to fly out. And if I had gotten the part, it was between me and Eric LaSalle.
Right.
If I got that part, I'd start working Monday. So that means that I wouldn't be able to do the play anymore. There was no understudy. There was no way for that thing to go on.
Wow.
Man.
I called the theater. I was like, Julie, look, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. I
Right.
get some famous. And she said, you can't do this, Harry. You will be disappointing the audiences and 30 other actors. And there's nothing, we can't accommodate. So
Right.
if you want to ruin this theater, we can go right ahead and fly.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I didn't. I stayed on the job and for my $200 a week.
Oh man, that's dedication. Yeah.
You know what? You were noble in that.
It's team player.
Yeah, team player for real.
Is that what they call it? Because my brother called it stupid.
Right. I can see that.
That was like 94.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So in 95, I moved out to LA. And again, I think I drove out there with Nick, Nick Gilly.
Yeah.
And roomed with him again. I started auditioning for a bunch of stuff. And then in 1998, they made a movie of Titus.
Right.
So I did that movie, but I didn't do any with Anthony Hopkins and Jessica Lange and a bunch of other great actors. But I didn't do Broadway until 2007. That was
okay. Right.
Yeah, that's the first and only time I've ever been on.
So that was amazing what you did in Titus, because James showed it to me. He's like, here, watch this. I was like, yeah, I want to watch it. And you had moments and after moment after moment. I didn't look at you as a villain. I looked at you as beautiful, beautiful.
I agree.
Beautiful monologue too. Wow.
Yeah.
Eloquent.
Man, that's funny. I didn't know people felt that way because, kind of like doing Shakespeare too. And that Aaron monologue is one of my favorite monologues, right? I think it's a beautiful piece, and I just love the defiance that Aaron has, even in the midst of his impending doom. You know what I'm saying? That he still is very defiant, and once again, how beautiful he's saying to a degree these very ugly things that he's done. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. No, it really is a virtuosic piece of writing,
Right.
It's got beautiful Black pride language. I think it's perhaps one of the most prideful monologues of strength and self-respect and self-value.
Right.
He says that, listen, I would kill the whole world to save this little boy.
Right.
He's better than all of you.
Yes.
I love that. So that's one of the monologues.
Now, Blacklist, like you said, it's into the 8th season, going on and on. How is that for you to continuously come on and do the show and have work continuous? How is that feeling, and how is that the set life and everything for you?
Well, it's certainly the longest job I've ever had continuously.
Okay, yeah.
I did over the course of 10 years. I might have done Malcolm X for a while there. And, return to that pool, so to speak.
Right.
I probably did hundreds of performances of that. But now that pales in comparison to, we've done 160 or 70 episodes of the Blacklist. So that's a lot. And I think that the thing I take away from it is that it's a chance to evolve a character. You get to grow with it, age with the character. You get to know these people in this long-form storytelling, which is a kind of training I think that every actor should get a crack at doing a serial performance, because
right.
That kind of long-form thing, you get to your knowledge of the character, what that character knows that you, the actor, does not know. Know. It's very interesting. I frequently get philosophical about acting. What does the actor need to know about the character he's playing at any given time? Because in reality, you couldn't really know everything, because that's an entirely different human being in theory, right?
Yeah.
So, the writer who wrote it only puts these moments of that persona's life, onto the page. But before that scene that starts the play, or some events that happen, when he's having dinner, someplace off stage, there's a whole world
No doubt.
So you can't, I don't think, know everything. Nor is it, but I'm curious because in this case, actors have to make decisions about how they're going to deliver a line, what they think about a particular thing, what's going on in their mind. And that may be a complete variance with what the writer is thinking.
Right.
So you're always playing catch up. You know, you're always getting to learn more about the people who invented these characters or decide what plot points they're going to have. It's very, very interesting. So I've kind of let go of the control freakery that was in the early part of my career. Where
I love that.
did exhaustive research and thought I knew the answer, what the character
no doubt.
Yeah.
And this is week to week.
It's in many cases day to day.
Ooh la la. Yeah.